Good morning. I'm sitting here with Arash Vossoughi. Many of you at HomeSmart have heard of Arash. Arash is my cousin. I've known him my entire life, and Arash owns a coaching business called Voss Coaching Company. This is a business that he coaches people all around the world in all different professions. He has quite a few real estate clients, and indirectly he's been providing myself with a lot of content that I've brought to HomeSmart, the best that I could. Today I happen to be with Arash, and he offered to do some questions and answers, and I'm hoping we can get a couple nuggets to bring back to you. So welcome, Arash. Thank you for being with me.
No, it's great to be here. You know, I will tell you, over the last 15 years of working with real estate agents, I get such a joy of watching them because, number one, the agents have so much potential. And once you get them to understand how to think, everything takes off. Most agents, if you look at them, when they come to me, and over the last 15 years, they will have real estate coaching and they will go into systems. And I'm big into systems. There's nothing I'm against that. I'm actually very for it. However, I work with them on identifying their mindset of what they really want. See, most agents are letting the marketplace dictate their goals. They're letting the marketplace dictate what they can do. And the idea that I always get across, Rob, to every agent that I work with, and I worked now over 15 years, I've worked with thousands of agents. And every time they come to me and I tell them this one phrase and it rattles them. And I bet you it's going to rattle you a little bit. And I say, do you really believe that you create your own economy? And a lot of them will sit back and they say, oh, I know what you mean. I say, no, I want you to get emotionally involved in that idea from the very beginning. And when we're letting the marketplace dictate our story, what's happening, even in the greatest markets, there's some agents that don't do well. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And even in the quote-unquote worst markets, there's some agents that are crushing it. I'm sure you have people right now on your team that are crushing it.
That's right.
So what is the difference? It's all mindset. And I want you all to understand this, that 95% of success is mindset and 5% is strategy. If you strengthen your mindset, and we can go into the most important parts today, but if you strengthen that, your strategies get better. Because now you're thinking from a completely different awareness and understanding of where you can go.
Makes sense.
See, I want to ask you a question. What do you think, for the top 1% of your agents, what do you think their behaviors are that really separate them?
You know, I'm at the center of the wheel, so I'm with all the agents. I work with the new ones, I work with the experienced ones. The commonality that I see with the successful ones are that they're driven. They do the same thing, they have a routine, they set their goals, and they actually drive to their goals. They focus on them daily and they really go after it. I think a lot of people, like I was so intrigued with your podcast. I listened to your podcast, and episode 6 so far was my favorite.
Yeah.
And I brought that back to our company because it talks about, you know, setting goals and driving to goals and then pulling to the goals too. And it just really hit home with me with our agents, because a lot of them say they set goals, but they really don't. When I ask them, what are your goals? They really don't answer that. So I think that's my answer to your question is that's the commonality.
Well, if you look at that, to me, I know this with 100% certainty. Goals are what makes us. So I don't even have to know your top agents, and I can know their behaviors. And number one, they're relentless, I guarantee it. Number two, rejection goes over their head. They don't even think about it. Number three, their work ethic is phenomenal. Nobody outworks them. But let's go into goals. See, at a young age, we've all been taught goal setting is important. I'm actually not interested in goal setting. I'm interested in goal achieving. There's a goal achievement process. See, goal setting is an intellectual idea. Goal achieving happens by exact law, not luck. What I mean by law is you're doing things in a certain way with a certain level of enthusiasm, with a certain level of expectation, with discipline, and constantly raising your image. See, for episode 6 that you were talking about, people ask me all the time. They say, well, what is the best way, what holds you accountable? And I said, my goal always holds me accountable. So first thing we have to understand, and all your agents have to understand, they've got to set a goal that is a big goal, something that really inspires them. See, what happens is if you set a goal, there's 3 types of goals people set. They set an average goal, they set a good goal. A good goal, average goal, they know they can do it. A good goal, they've never done it, but they know they can. They want to set an extraordinary goal. I'm talking about a world-class goal. Then they take themselves to this world-class energy. The goal is what brings you up here. And what happens, let's say you have an agent, the most they've done is 60,000, okay? And they say, you know what, my next goal is 80,000. That's not a good goal. That's not going to make them inspired. That's not going to make them, when they have adversity, keep stretching. And so every goal you have, you want to ask yourself, is it worthy of me? Not am I worthy of the goal, is the goal worthy of me? Is it something that I'm willing to trade my life for? Because every day you guys are out in the field, you guys are cold calling, you're doing open houses, and you're asking for referrals. But if you don't have a goal that really inspires you, you may check a box to do it. You never want to check a box. You want to get emotionally involved in everything you're doing. And that's a mindset game. So think of somebody, if I'm talking to the agent right now, who's earning 60,000, and I say to them, because I've had this, I remember there was a client I was working with in Pennsylvania. When she came to me, she was earning 40,000. By the end of the year, she earned 400,000. Massive, she didn't believe me. And I told her, I don't need you to believe me, I just need you not believe me and do what I tell you. And what I did with her, the first thing I did is I got her to set a goal that was far greater than anything she thought, but I wanted her to commit to it. I didn't tell her to set a goal, what the goal should be. That's up to them. But then all I did is I worked with her on first thing I worked with her is on changing her self-image. See, our self-image is a direct reflection of the results in our life. So if I look at my results, Rob, if you look at your results, they'll tell you where your image is conditioned. So if our goal is up here, then our self-image needs to match that. So we have to raise our self-image. Our self-image is the most important picture we have of ourselves. And it's in our subconscious mind. And how do we get our self-image? It's through past experiences, like my past experiences, your past experiences. The beautiful part is you can never outperform your self-image, but you can change it. That's the part. And that's the first thing that we have to work on with any person that I've ever worked on in real estate. I do it with every industry. It's the same process. But in the real estate, if you're letting the outside control you, the market, if you're letting, I haven't made a sale yet, I don't have a closing this month, that's going to impact your attitude right away. So we want to understand, and I want everybody to listen to me carefully here. I want you to think of your goal right now. And right away, you're going to know if I have a goal or not. Right away. See, for me, the first thing you'll know if you have a goal is that the first thing you thought about when you woke up this morning. For me, it's the first thing I always think about. And it's the last thing I go to bed thinking about. And you'll know right away. Then you want to ask yourself, today I'm going to make decisions from my goal. This is the key. Not to the goal, but from it. I want you to assume that your goal is already a fact. It's already here because creation's already finished. Now I can go deeper in that. That's a big idea. I want to simplify this. But you go, let's say the agent, using my example, from 60, their goal is 200. That's a good goal. And 60 to 200 is not a big difference in real estate. It's just a couple things done in a better way. So then you say, okay, I'm going to think from 200. So every decision I make today is coming from the $200,000 agent. And then I'll say to myself, what would the disciplines be of that person? Okay, let's look at the good disciplines. So we can give them this. What do you think is if you look at an agent that does 200, what are the top 3 disciplines that agent would have to have?
You know, a commitment to learning, commitment to education. These agents, the top agents have passion. The top agents have confidence, right? They don't just get that. They don't just wake up and they have that. Somehow they got it. I personally think that going to classes, going to seminars, learning, watching things on the internet and continuing to learn helps them with that confidence, right? I've never seen a top agent that, you know, has poor body language, who's not a leader, right? I've never seen a top agent who has low energy, right? You got to have strong energy to do that. And I've learned a lot of that from you, but the more I listen to you and read everything I can and watch everything I can that you're putting out there, it seems to me like all these figures are coming into my head of the successful people and the ones that are continuing to struggle, and it exactly fits those molds, right? That's why I was so excited when you offered to do this morning, because that's what I'm trying to get through to everybody.
Well, here, let's talk about confidence for a second. Confidence comes from two things, from knowing and doing. See, when you talk about education, let's take it a step further. Education is vital to creating the life that they want. Education, continuous education. But it's not about gathering the information, it's about the implementation. Now, Emerson wrote a great essay. Anybody can Google it and read it, and I encourage you to. It's on compensation. It's a law of compensation. And the law of compensation, I'm going to bring this back to your education. The law of compensation states that we all get paid an exact proportion to the service we render, the need for it in the marketplace, and our ability to do it. Now think about that. The service you're rendering is getting people into their homes, selling their homes. Is there a need for that service? We know there is. That's all for generations, over and over. The key part of the law of compensation is our ability to do it. So it's the repetition of getting that continuous education over and over again, and then your ability to create the disciplines of prospecting, of creating great relationships, for asking for referrals, not getting outworked, waking up every day and working on your mindset first. See, every one of you, your first hour of the day should be on yourself. You've got to have a morning ritual. You have to have a morning ritual. And how you start your day is how you own your day. And if anyone wants to learn about a morning ritual, go to my website. It's a free download at vosscoachingco.com. But I will tell you, we have to lock in on this, because I'm always telling people forever, the first thing is I want everyone to see themselves as a superstar. See, that agent who's earning $1 million is no different in terms of potential than the agent who's earning $20,000 or $40,000. That agent who's earning $1 million or more, 200 or more, 500 or more, you have them all over. The only difference is they did the things that top agents do. So every master is a beginner at some point. I was a beginner at some point. You were a beginner at some point. You know, so we look at it. I think about your sister a lot, because I'm always forever asking about your sister. And I say, what do you think separates Susie? And Susie would be a great model for people in terms of relentlessness, what I know of her. So I encourage anybody watching this, look in the HomeSmart community and look at the behaviors of somebody they really admire who is further than them, and study them, watch their behaviors, watch their disciplines, reach out to them and ask them, say, can I just have a 5-minute conversation with you? And come with really good prepared questions. What are 2 to 3 things that you think sets you above? And that's all we have to do to get them to move, but it's all mindset. I'm big on standard. Like, standard changed my life. And our personal standard is our DNA to success. It is absolutely, see, most people are letting the outside determine their standard, or they get pissed off enough, they say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? Then they raise it. But I want all of you to set your standard. Say, from this point on, I'm not allowing anything under here. I'm not accepting it. If I go 30 days, it's not going to affect my mindset. Now, I can say that. It takes your disciplines of only accepting what you want for a 30 to 90 day time period to really implement that in your mindset. But I remember one time I got mentored by the dean of personal development. And I mean, him and I were by each other's side for 15 years. And one time I was going up to speak on stage, and he said to me, he goes, talk to them about not letting the outside circumstances control you. He said, it's the hardest thing to do. I said, it is, but it's essential. It is absolutely essential. Now think about you. I'm talking to every agent one-on-one right now. Are you spending most of your time letting your attitude be dictated by the outside? If you are, you're going to be like a yo-yo, up and down, and it's going to change your life. What I want you to do, I want you to get to the point where you're inspirationally dissatisfied. That's a great word, 2 words, inspirationally dissatisfied. See, dissatisfaction is a very creative state. I'd rather work with somebody that's dissatisfied than somebody that's just coasting. The person coasting plateaus. And I think every single person in your company, I know they're going to reject this, a lot of them, but I really believe that every person in your company can double and triple their results if they make a few changes. That's all it is.
Wow, that is great stuff.
Well,
Great stuff.
I'll tell you, I have been on both sides of the spectrum. And I've had the great experience to help people go from the bottom to the top. And I'm just talking about real estate right now. And the common denominator is what you said, self-education. And I have something that I do for myself and all my clients, my elite level clients. I ask them this every night. I said, right before, not when you're tired, but like your end of your workday, if you want to prevent yourself from drifting, ask yourself, it's just a few questions. Did my behaviors reflect my goal today? Did my attitude reflect the person I said I was going to do, that I'm going to become? Did my standard reflect it? What were my disciplines? And what it does, it prevents you from drifting. See, I always joke about this, but nobody gets overweight after eating bad for 1 day. They get overweight from turning that 1 day into 5 days, that 5 days into 10 days. And no one's real estate business has gone down from having one bad day. What happens is they got lazy with their behaviors. We can't get lazy.
All right.
Yeah.
This is great stuff. Gosh, Arash, thank you very much. This is great stuff. I know your podcast is once a week.
Once a week, yeah.
I always look forward to it. I've actually listened to a lot of the episodes multiple times. Episode 6, again, that's my favorite. 7-figure standard.
7-figure standard.
With the number 7.
Yeah, the number 7.
Highly recommend that. It's a great fit for our agents too. Thank you again for talking to me today.
My pleasure. I want to leave everyone with one idea. I want you to get out a piece of paper and a pen. And you know whether you're going to do this or not. You'll know how badly you want to succeed. And before I give it to you, I'll tell you a story. This is a phenomenal story. So there's this old story about Socrates. And this gentleman came to Socrates' door and he said, Socrates, I want to be a great philosopher like you. He said, how serious are you? And he said, I'm very serious. He said, okay, let's go back to my lake. So he had a lake in the backyard of his house. And he said, kneel down. And the guy kneels down and he grabs him by the neck and he puts his head underwater and holds it. I mean, he's holding it. And then he finally brings it up. The guy's kicking and his legs are kicking. He brings it up. He said, if you want to be a great philosopher like me, you have to want it as badly as you want to breathe. Now, why I'm telling you this is your want has to be through the roof. And you have to really set standards and goals that are worthy of you, something that is going to get you to move. I hope I'm lighting a fire in you because it works for every single person who implements this. Now, what I want to do is something very simple to open everybody up. It's just a simple exercise. Get out a piece of paper and a pen. Do not type this. Do it with a pen. And write out in the present tense exactly how the next 6 months of your business is going to go. And make it the best 6 months that you've ever performed. And write it in the present tense. I'm so happy and grateful now that my real estate business has created a massive quantum leap. My disciplines are through the roof. I see myself as a superstar. All I'm focused on is how I can help others. My disciplines, I am surrounded by top agents, and we are masterminding together. We are constantly working with each other, thinking of how we can get better. Start writing exactly what you want and put an income goal. You have to have an income goal because you've got to give your subconscious mind direction. If you don't give it direction, you're going to get vague results. Vague requests, vague results.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I love it.